Lolo. I'm in love with the coco. I'm in love with the coco. I'm in love with the coco. I got it for the Lolo. Turn up. I'm in love with the coco. Hit my plug, that's my cholo. Cause he got it for the Lolo. If you snitchin', I go loco. Hit you with that 38. Niggas thinking that I'm solo. 50.
Napoleon Bonaparte was born in August 15 of 1769 in the island of Corsica, which was territory of France. In 1779, he was admitted to a military school where he became very skillful. The school was called, hold on a second, Briny-le-Château. Napoleon first took control of France in 1800 when the people voted for him. Napoleon wanted to have order and stability in France, so he did not return to the days of King Louis. He kept many changes that came with the French Revolution. He supported laws that would both strengthen the central government and achieve some goals of the revolution, such as stable economy and equality in taxation. He set up an efficient tax collection system which established a national bank. He also reduced corruption in the government by dismissing corrupt officials. He also created government-run public schools which were open to children of ordinary citizens as well as children of the wealthy. Almost all of Napoleon's actions were for good of the people, and all the people, not just the wealthy people, but all the people. In 1804, he crowned himself emperor. In 1804, he crowned himself emperor and was supported by. This is what you get when you In 1804, he crowned himself emperor and was supported by many French. Napoleon wanted to take control of the wanted to control the rest of Europe. Napoleon wanted to control the rest of Europe and to reassert French power in the New World. Napoleon's victories had given him control over most of Europe. The French Empire was huge, but also unstable, and that was his flaw. His thirst for power is what led him to make bad decisions. After 1812, the French Empire quickly fell to pieces. He made three bad mistakes. Well, he made bad mistakes because of this. He made bad mistakes because he was thirsty for power, which led him to make mistakes. The mistakes were the Continental System in 1806, which was a blockade to prevent all trade and communication between Great Britain and other Europe nations. Another one was the invasion of Russia in 1812. And this was caused because Russia would not stop selling grain to Great Britain. So Napoleon marched with a lot of troops into Russia, which many weren't French. The Tsar pulled back his troops toward Moscow and practiced a scorched earth policy. burning any type of food down so the enemy couldn't eat, which led for Napoleon's troops to flee and look for food. Napoleon made it to Moscow and found it burned and in flames, but he stayed for 5 weeks hoping that the Tsar would make a peace offer. When he saw that no peace offer was coming, he quickly retreated with only 10,000 soldiers left to fight. So, I repeat again. Napoleon was a hero. Yes, he did get overwhelmed with power and he wanted to exert his power and to control, some may say, the whole world. But he was a hero and he would be known as a hero. He did what he could for his people and he wanted to expand his empire for his people. Napoleon is a hero. Thank you. This is Channel 6 News. Have a nice one, Sacramento.
Napoleon Dynamite, a ginger kid from Prescott, Idaho, who wants to help his best friend Pedro win class president. Napoleon's early years included him living with his grandmother and his brother Kip, and the whereabouts of his mother and father are not really known, but we can just assume that they died. But so Napoleon Dynamite basically started off, he was basically a nerd. Like, he just wanted to fit in. And he was a pretty dorky guy. His brother Kip ended up meeting a girl, and she ended up living off with him. And Napoleon Dynamite, he had a pet llama named Tina. And Tina doesn't really play a big role in Napoleon's life, but Tina does some pretty crazy stuff in that movie. Like, Napoleon goes out to feed her. And Napoleon's grandma ends up going dirt bike riding with a couple of her friends. So that leaves Napoleon's Uncle Rico to come supervise over him and his brother Kip. Uncle Rico, he used to dream of being a football star until he messed up his arm. And Uncle Rico he tries to get at people, especially young people, and he tries to sell them stuff to make enlargements on something. And so Napoleon met Pedro, because Pedro went to school new in high school, and so they met. He's like, "What's up? My name's Pedro. My name's Napoleon." And then Pedro ended up showing Napoleon how to do some bike tricks, like on a ramp, jump off. And so Napoleon and Pedro became best friends, and Pedro eventually wanted to run for class president. So Napoleon went out and put up posters, and him with Napoleon and their friend Deb's help, Pedro ended up winning class president. So Napoleon was, I would say he's a hero because he basically helped his friend Pedro win class president. So Napoleon's a hero. This Channel 7 News reporting to you live. Alright. Military General and First Emperor of France, Napoleon Bonaparte, was born on August 15, 1769 in the JCL Corsica, France. One of the most celebrated leaders in history of the West, he revolutionized military organization and training, sponsored Napoleonic Code, reorganized education, and established the long-lived Concordant of the Papacy. He died on May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, 1821, on the island of St. Helena in the South Atlantic Ocean. Alright, you can stop right there. That's the first part. Considered one of the world's greatest military leaders, Napoleon Bonaparte was born August 15, 1769, in the JCL Corsica, France. He was the fourth and second surviving child of Carlo Bonaparte, a lawyer, and his wife, Letizia Romagliano. By the time around Napoleon's birth, Corsica's occupation by the French had grown considerably. Local resistance. Carlo Bonaparte had at first supported the nationalists, alliing with the leader, Pascal Paoli. But Paoli was forced to flee the island. Carlo switched his allegiance to the French. After doing so, he was appointed assessor of the judicial district of JCO in 1771, a plush job that eventually enabled him to enroll his two sons, Joseph and Napoleon, in France's college, Datum. Eventually, Napoleon ended up at the military college of Brienne, where he studied for 5 years before moving on to the military academy of Paris. In 1785, while Napoleon was at the academy, his father died of stomach cancer. This propelled Napoleon to take the reins as the head of the family. Graduating early from the military academy, Napoleon, now second lieutenant of artillery, returned to Corsica in 1786. This is Channel 7 News. We'll be back after the break. And we're back. Channel 7 News.
Go!
Napoleon's military campaign proved disastrous. On August 1st, 1798, Admiral Horatio Nelson's fleet decimated his forces in the Battle of the Nile. Napoleon's image was greatly harmed by the loss, and in a show of newfound confidence against the commander, Britain, Austria, Russia, and Turkey formed a new coalition against France. In the spring 1799, French armies were defeated in Italy, forcing France to give up much of the peninsula. Inside France itself, unrest continued to ensue, and in June of 1799, a coup resulted in the Jacobins taking control of the Directory. In October, Napoleon returned to France, working with one of the new directors, Emmanuel Seyss. He hatched plans for a second coup that would place the two men and another, Pierre Roger Ducos, atop a new government called the Consulate. Channel 7 News. We'll be back. Alright, Channel 7 News. Back to it. Alright. Napoleon's negotiated peace with Europe lasted just 3 years. In 1803, France again returned to war with Britain, and then with Russia and Austria. The British registered an important naval victory against Napoleon in 1805 at Trafalgar, which led Napoleon to scrap his plans to invade England. Instead, he set his sights on Austria and Russia and beat back both militaries and Austerlitz. That just shows how power-hungry Napoleon is, and he's evil. Alright. Napoleon's military successes, however, soon gave way to broader defeats, beginning in 1810, when France surrendered a string of losses that tapped the country's military budget. In 1812, France was devastated when its invasion of Russia turned out to be a colossal failure, in which scores of soldiers, and I mean scores, in Napoleon's Grand Army were killed or badly wounded. Out of an original fighting force of some 600,000 men, just 10,000 soldiers were still fit for battle. Napoleon sent his troops over there to Russia. He thought he could take on Russia. His troops died, killed a lot of people, while he resulted in a lot of people dying because of his failure. Freaking villain. News of the defeat reinvigorated Napoleon's enemies, both inside and outside of France. A failed coup was attempted while Napoleon led his charge against Russia, while the British began to advance through French territories. With international pressure mounting and his government lacking the resources to fight back against his enemies, Napoleon surrendered to Allied forces on March 30th, 1814. He went into exile on the island of Elba. Channel 7 News. Wait, it just ended right there. I was trying to think of something to say, but no. This right here is a map of Russia. And this is a map of Napoleon's French Empire. Napoleon tried to take over Russia up here.
No, a little bit more to the right.
Up here. But it was too big of a threat. And Napoleon failed. Which lost him about, let's say, he started off with 600,000 men. He ended up with only 10,000. And this basically shows what Napoleon tried to expand his empire to. But since he was a villain, and since he didn't really care about the people or the troops that he sent off to battle, he didn't really think of the other side. So Napoleon lost. And the French Empire remained just right there. This one right here is a picture of Napoleon when he was an emperor, my bad. And he looks pretty smug. I don't know. Alright, this one down here is when Napoleon was out to war. He was on his horse. It's a pretty nice horse. That just shows that he was rich. He was a rich emperor. And he's pointing to something over there. He's probably commanding his troops to do something. That's it. Alright. Channel 7 News. My name has been Victor Avalos, and I'm out.
Yo he peleado con cocodrilos, me he balanceado sobre un hilo, cargando más de 500 kilos. Le he dado la vuelta al mundo en menos de un segundo. He cruzado 100 laberintos y nunca me confundo. Respiro dentro y fuera del agua como las focas. Soy a prueba de fuego, agarro balas con la boca. Mi creatividad vuela como los aviones. Puedo construir un cerebro sin leer las instrucciones. Hablo todos los idiomas de todos los abecedarios. Tengo más vocabulario que cualquier diccionario. Tengo vista de águila, olfato de perro. Puedo caminar descalzo sobre clavos de hierro. Soy inmune a la muerte. No necesito bendiciones porque siempre tengo buena suerte. Ven conmigo a dar un paseo por el parque porque tengo más cuentos que contarte que García Márquez. Por ti, todo lo que hago lo hago por ti. Es que tú me sacas lo mejor de mí. Soy todo lo que soy porque tú eres todo lo que quiero. Por ti, todo lo que hago lo hago por ti. Es que tú me sacas lo mejor de mí. Soy todo lo que soy porque tú eres todo lo que quiero. Por ti, todo lo que hago lo hago por ti. Es que tú me sacas lo mejor de mí. Soy todo lo que soy porque tú eres todo lo que quiero. Puedo brincar la cuerda con solo una pierna. Veo en la oscuridad sin usar una linterna. Cocino lo que quieras, yo soy todo un chef. Tengo sexo 24/7 todo el mes. Puedo soplar las nubes grises para que tengas un buen día. También sé cómo comunicarme por telepatía. Por ti cruzo la frontera sin visa y le saco una buena sonrisa a la moneda.